Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. How to cook the perfect pork afritada, a Filipino stew recipe with a rich history. Pork afritada, a Filipino stew that's equal parts flavorful and comforting. Imagine tender chunks of pork and a medley of colorful vegetables, all slow cooked in a rich, slightly sweet tomato-based sauce. This beloved dish has been a staple in Filipino cuisine for generations, and its enduring popularity is a testament to its delicious simplicity. Originating from the Spanish colonial era, afritada is a culinary legacy that has evolved over time, influenced by various regional flavors and cooking techniques. Today, it remains a favorite among locals and visitors alike, often served at family gatherings, special occasions, and even everyday meals. In this video, we'll explore the rich history and cultural significance of pork afritada, and provide a step-by-step guide on how to cook this mouth-watering stew to perfection. What is pork afritada? Pork afritada is a classic Filipino stew that's both flavorful and comforting. At its core, it's a simple yet satisfying dish made with tender chunks of pork and a colorful medley of vegetables, all slow-cooked in a rich, slightly sweet tomato-based sauce. But what makes pork afritada truly special is the way its ingredients come together to create a harmonious balance of flavors and textures. Ingredients. So, what goes into a traditional pork afritada recipe? Here are the common ingredients you'll find. Protein. Pork is the star of the show, typically cut into bite-sized pieces and browned to perfection. Vegetables. Onions, garlic, bell peppers, and tomatoes are the usual suspects, adding a pop of color and flavor to the dish. Spices. Salt, black pepper, and bay leaves provide a savory depth, while a pinch of sugar balances out the acidity. Tomato sauce. This is where the magic happens, as the sauce brings everything together and adds a rich, slightly sweet flavor. Cooking method. Now that we have our ingredients, let's talk about the cooking process. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to bring pork afritada to life. Brown the pork, heat some oil in a large pot, and brown the pork pieces until they're nice and crispy. Remove them from the pot and set them aside. Soften the onions and garlic, add more oil if needed, then sauté the onions and garlic until they're soft and fragrant. Add the vegetables, throw in the bell peppers and cook until they're tender, then add the tomatoes and cook until they start to break down. Add the tomato sauce and spices, pour in the tomato sauce, add the browned pork back into the pot, and sprinkle in the spices. Stir everything together, then let it simmer for at least 30 minutes to allow the flavors to meld. Season to taste. Taste and adjust the seasoning as needed, adding more salt, pepper, or sugar to balance out the flavors. A rich history, uncovering the origins of pork afritada. Pork afritada's story begins with the arrival of Spanish colonizers in the Philippines. As they brought their own cuisine and cooking techniques, they inadvertently laid the groundwork for this beloved Filipino dish. But how did pork afritada evolve from its Spanish roots to become a staple in Filipino cuisine? Spanish influence. The Spanish introduced tomatoes, a key ingredient in pork afritada, to the Philippines. Before then, tomatoes were unknown in the country. The Spanish also brought their own cooking techniques, such as stewing and braising, which were adapted by Filipino cooks. The use of olive oil, garlic, and onions, all staples in Spanish cuisine, also became integral to the dish. As Filipino cooks experimented with these new ingredients and techniques, the foundation for pork afritada was laid. Filipino adaptation. As Filipinos adapted the Spanish dish to their own tastes and preferences, pork afritada began to take shape. Local ingredients like patis, fish sauce, and calamansi, Philippine lime, were incorporated, adding a distinctly Filipino flavor profile. The use of pork, a staple protein in Filipino cuisine, also became a defining characteristic of the dish. Filipino cooks also adjusted the level of spiciness and acidity to suit local tastes, resulting in a milder and more balanced flavor. Through this process of adaptation, pork afritada became a true reflection of Filipino cuisine, a delicious blend of Spanish, Chinese and Malay influences. Exploring the diverse world of pork afritada variations. Pork afritada, like many Filipino dishes, is not a one-size-fits-all recipe. Its evolution over time and geographical spread have led to the creation of various regional and personal interpretations. These variations not only showcase the versatility of the dish but also highlight the creativity and resourcefulness of Filipino cooks. Regional variations. From the northernmost tip of Luzon to the southernmost islands of Mindanao, each region in the Philippines has its own unique take on pork afritada. Here are a few notable examples. Ilocano-style afritada. In the Ilocos region, afritada is cooked with a generous amount of vinegar, giving it a tangy and slightly sour taste. This variation is often served with steamed rice and a side of fresh vegetables. Visayan-style afritada. In the Visayas, afritada is cooked with a mixture of tomato sauce and coconut milk, resulting in a rich and creamy sauce. This variation is often served with steamed rice and a side of grilled fish or meat. Mindanao-style afritada. In Mindanao, afritada is cooked with a blend of spices and herbs, including cumin, coriander, and turmeric. This variation is often served with steamed rice and a side of fried plantains or bananas. Personal variations. While regional variations showcase the diversity of pork afritada across different geographical locations, personal variations highlight the creativity and experimentation of individual cooks. Here are a few examples. Spicy afritada. For those who like a little heat, adding diced jalapenos or serrano peppers can give the dish an extra kick. Seafood afritada. Adding shrimp, mussels, or clams can add a new dimension of flavor and texture to the dish. Vegan afritada. For a plant-based version, substituting pork with tofu or tempeh and using vegetable broth instead of tomato sauce can create a delicious and satisfying alternative. These variations demonstrate that pork afritada is not a static recipe, but rather a dynamic and evolving dish that can be adapted and modified to suit individual tastes and preferences. Whether you're a traditionalist or an innovator, there's a pork afritada variation out there for you. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll show you how to perfect this delicious soup. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.